we have some question from Japanese
Students,
painters. You create lots of designs.
Yes.
I'm sure you are always busy, and we'd like to know, how do you spend times every day?
I usually try to paint every day, at least 2 to 3 hours. I have to do the normal wife duties of fixing breakfast, washing clothes, cleaning house, and taking care of our puppy dogs. And I do hire a gardener to do the gardens. And then I usually try to come down here to the studio for a few hours at least. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, both my friend Billy and I work here all day. But the rest of the time we have home time, if possible.
Oh, and next, when did you start decorative paint? And I want to know from the day to now.
Oh my!
Long time.
Well, we're talking about 40 years. I started in the late 60s. I became a master teacher, and we published our first book in 1974. So that was 32 years ago. And I have taught a long time. In the early days in Southern California, we would paint from 9 in the morning until 9 at night.
Oh.
And I fixed lunch. I cooked lunch for the students. And our seminars were like 4 days, then a day off, and 4 days. So we painted really for 9 days, long time. So I've painted a long time, a lot of time. And let's see, then in the early 80s, we moved our studio here to Eureka, California, because we thought it was time to retire. And so we didn't retire because our grown children came to us and asked us if they could move here too. So Jerry and I thought, and we thought we'd love to have the children come and their families, but we would have to help them with jobs. And so we made the studio bigger and started teaching again.
I'm very glad to hear that you didn't retire. And I saw your quilt. I saw your quilt.
Yes.
A few days ago. Do you like any other hobby?
I read. I read a lot. And so I have reading that is enjoyment, and then I also very much enjoy reading about the history of the art and anything related to art. I hand quilt. Everything is by hand. That's one of my hobbies. Another thing I enjoy is playing with the puppies and brushing them. And then I like to put puzzles together, especially large puzzles of paintings, because I can really see the colors and the technique.
What do you have? Puppies? What kind of puppies?
Now we've always had puppies. Now we have Oliver, an English bulldog, and we have what is called a red-nosed pit bull. and he's 100 pounds, and Oliver is about 70 pounds. And the red-nosed pit came to our home looking for a home. And so, of course, we took him in. And he's been a joy.
Your English bulldog, always in your book.
Yes, yes. We had our first English bulldog, maybe 1975 or 6. And so we've always had a bulldog.
What are you interested in now?
One of my main interests, although as yet I can't spend too much time on it, is the preservation of what we are doing now. How do we preserve the records, and how do we promote the idea with everyone of how important it is to finish the pieces and say something on the pieces about the history of the piece. All of this meant to keep our tradition for the next 150 years.
And I've heard your new book would be published.
Yes.
When and what kind of works did you do in your book?
The new book has taken me about 3 years to make. Part of it was finding the pieces and then getting the pieces made. That was hard. Finding people who could make these heavy trays. And so retailers like Painter's Paradise helped research and find manufacturers who would make. But in the meantime, I was painting, and the new book will be called Victoria's Painted Garden, because in Victorian times they did a lot of decorative painting. And so the book has a little bit, skoshi, of the painting, traditional painting. And then it also presents my contemporary expression of the style and some whimsy.
You paint rose morning, Hinderhoven,
Yes.
Victorian flowers, and anything. What is your favorite?
Oh. I think I paint all styles because that has, over the 40 years, that has been my research, is all the styles. And I will do a study for the students sometimes where we try to reproduce the techniques and tradition of the style. But then I love the contemporary expression of the style because we shouldn't copy. I've had master teachers from Europe, and they always say, don't copy. And the older I get, and the more experienced I get, I realize this is true because it is important for our interpretation to be added if we want the art form to grow. If we just copy, the art form won't grow.
I think so.
So we must add our thoughts to it, and we must, I've heard decorators say, reinvent the old. And so then what is my very favorite? That's hard. Because I love all styles. I think, though, rose mulling is, and that's because my father's parents both came from Norway, and so that's my strongest tradition. But my mother's parents were English and Pen Dutch. So I have Pen Dutch tradition too that I love.
And what kind of work do you want to paint in the future?
Next year I will be 70 years old, and I'm going to try to not teach so much because I think it is time for me to paint what I love and to leave behind me some paintings. I will probably do, I've got books and books of drawings and designs, and I probably will do more what everybody kindly calls Josonja style, and just express myself and paint. I have lots of tin pieces and silver pieces to do. Jerry, my husband, has helped me collect a lot of pieces, and we have them, we're getting them all prepped, and so I have shelves of tin and silver, and I've got some wonderful old wood pieces. I will try to do very special pieces that have great meaning.
Thank you for answering to us.
Yes.
And thank you very much. I'm sure my Japanese painters will enjoy this video. And thank you for your kindness for Cherry Beans.
My pleasure. Can I say hello to all your students?
Yeah.
And wish them the most happy painting life and times together, because as I look back over my life, some of the most wonderful times has been the times that I've spent with other artist friends. And I have a very gracious and supportive husband who has helped me and let me do that and been most kind. Of course, he goes golfing, but I get to paint. So thank you again. Please enjoy your painting.
Thank you very much.